Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the seventh film made in the Halloween series, Halloween H20, 20 years later. Kind of a dumb title, but just because the title of the movie is dumb, does that mean the movie itself is dumb? Let's find out. After the disaster that was The Curse of Michael Myers, the Halloween series was at its lowest point ever. Donald Pleasance had passed away, we didn't have a Jamie Lloyd, Laurie was said to have died in between films, there was pretty much nowhere left to go, and the slasher genre as a whole seemed dead at the time. That all changed, however, when in the year 1996, the movie Scream came out, went on to become hugely successful, spawning several sequels and completely revitalizing the previously thought dead slasher genre, as well as the horror genre as a whole, and it even spawned several slasher film knockoffs, like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend. So now that we had these slasher movies coming out and becoming hugely successful, it was only a matter of time before we got another Halloween movie. Then, in 1998, we finally got that movie with Halloween H20, although unlike the other sequels, this one completely retcons the events to where the sequels 4 through 6 didn't happen, because, you know, Halloween 3 was its own separate entity and had nothing to do with the other films, it was more of an anthology film. This one controversially ignored 4 through 6, but in hindsight, it was probably the right move to do because the way 6 was going, it was just a fucking mess, and there's really nothing you could do with it. And one more thing, this film was also notable for bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, who hadn't been seen in a Halloween movie since the original Halloween 2 back in 1981. Directed by Steve Miner and produced by real-life boogeyman Harvey Weinstein, the film was set 20 years after the original, where we see that Laurie Strode has gone ahead and faked her death and changed her name to Carrie Tate, where she works as the headmistress for a private school and lives with her son John. Jamie Lee Curtis gives a really strong performance in this film as Laurie Strode, probably her best ever. We see that the events of 20 years ago have left a traumatic effect on her. She's got an alcoholic problem, she's paranoid, she's seeing things, and all this stuff is just building up and really putting a damper on her relationship with her son John. So, to help her relationship with her son, Laurie decides to allow him to go on an overnight field trip to Yosemite National Park along with most of the students at the academy. John, however, doesn't go and decides to instead just stay and spend time with his girlfriend Molly, played by a young Michelle Williams. As well as these two characters who are just there to die. Anyways, Michael soon makes his way to the school, but because it's security, he must find a way to get past the security guard / part-time adult romance author, Ronnie, played by LL Cool J. Now, much like in Deep Blue Sea, LL Cool J is a real standout in this movie. Although he's not given as much screen time and as much to do in this film as he is in Deep Blue Sea, he manages to bring his trademark charm and charisma to the role. Outside of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, he's probably my favorite part of the film. Anyways, Michael manages to comedically sneak past Ronnie before going to start killing everyone off. Laurie soon realizes that John is in danger and goes to rescue him. Laurie manages to save John and Molly, but she's had enough of this bullshit. She's so sick and tired of living in fear of Michael Myers, so she decides that she's going to either finish Michael off once and for all or die trying in the process. She then sends John and Molly to go get the cops, she grabs an axe and calls Michael out. It's a really great scene because it shows just how far Laurie has come as a character since the first movie. Beforehand, she was running from Michael. Now this time, she's bringing the fight to him. This is the most intense part of the film, and I get excited each time I watch it. They kick the crap out of each other. Michael stabs her, she hits him with an axe, knives are thrown, and Michael goes through a table. It's all very satisfying to watch. Anyways, so Michael gets taken away in an ambulance, and that's seemingly the end of the movie. However, Laurie steals the vehicle he's in, and at which point Michael gets up and attempts to attack Laurie. I'm trying to emphasize the point that Laurie is clearly being attacked by Michael Myers in this movie, because the movie after this gives us some other bullshit explanation for what's going on. In the end, though, the car crashes, Michael gets pinned down, and Laurie chops his head off, definitively killing him once and for all, and ending this movie series once and for all.
You serious?
At least that's what I wish I could say about this movie until the next film came along and fucked it all up. If the movie did end with Laurie killing Michael like this, it would have been the perfect way to end the series. Laurie wins and Michael finally loses. No more loose ends. Now, with that being said, let's go on to talking about some other stuff with this movie. There's a lot of things I do like about this movie. Then there's some stuff that I don't like, and then there's some stuff that just confuses me. Let's talk about the positives first. For one thing, the production value of it is pretty good. The movie is shot quite well, and the cast does a pretty good job all around. Nobody is phoning it in, and Jamie Lee Curtis is bringing her A game to this movie. It really shows just how far she has come as an actress. I also like some of the nods to the original movies, as well as the references it has to other horror films, particularly in the scene where Jamie Lee Curtis is acting alongside her actual real-life mother, Janet Leigh, who is in the movie Psycho, and is even seen driving the same car. It's a fun little Easter egg, and who knows, maybe Marion Crane survived the events of Psycho, faked her own death, and went on to live in the same community as Laurie Strode. Perhaps this is just an FBI relocation location where they send off everyone who's under the Witness Protection Program, which now means that Halloween and Psycho are in the same universe. Or it's just an Easter egg. But I like to believe the possible crossover idea, because that sounds awesome. Norman Bates and Michael Myers at the same insane asylum talking to each other. That could be interesting. Although Michael doesn't talk. But Norman can talk. But then again, he doesn't say words. He's, quiet, peaceful, and crazy and stuff. But who knows? The idea of a Halloween Psycho crossover sounds cool, so I'm just going to go with that. Next, let's talk about the bad with this movie. Even though I've been mostly positive to this film, I do have some problems with it. My biggest issue is the awful half-assed jump scares. None of them are scary, and they get pretty annoying really quickly. I began to lose count with how many times people kept sneaking up onto Laurie and jump scaring her throughout this movie. After a while, it gets pretty old. There's other things to nitpick here and there, such as the mask not looking very good, some of the characters are written pretty thin, but my main issue was still the lame-ass jump scares. Now, before I end this video, there's one last thing I have to talk about, because it's bothered me for years. During one part in the movie, Molly and her friend are in their room, and on the TV in the background, Scream 2 is playing. But what I don't understand is the fact that in the Scream universe, Halloween is a film that they all watch. In fact, Halloween plays at the end of the first Scream movie. So how the hell does Scream 2 even exist in this universe? If Halloween is just a movie inside of Scream, does that mean that inside the Halloween universe version of Scream 2 and Scream 1 that there's another movie that takes the place of the original Halloween that they're referencing and constantly showing in the movie? Is it like in Last Action Hero when Arnold Schwarzenegger goes into that video store and instead of him being in the Terminator 2 movie that Sylvester Stallone is in it? What does it all mean? What movie takes the place of Halloween in the Halloween version of Scream 2 and Scream 1 if Halloween's just a movie in general? I'm going crazy now just trying to comprehend what is going on. Why even include that movie if it creates like some sort of like time movie paradox? Alright, I've rambled on long enough. Outside of Halloween 4, Halloween H20 is the best of the sequels. Is it amazing? No, it's not amazing. I have my issues with it, but it's still a good sequel that would have been a proper way to end the original series before the next movie came along to fuck that all up. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my review of Halloween H20 20 years later. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film, as well as what do you think that in the Halloween version of Scream 2, what film takes the place of Halloween? What's going on with that whole situation? I have no idea. I'm completely confused. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SeanJTKing, the little bell for notifications, and we'll be back next time to talk about the absolutely terribly awful Halloween Resurrection, which is the end of the original Halloween series, although the new Halloween film is coming out this October, and it's taking place in an alternate continuity again. It's just the Halloween series continuity is just all fucking over the place. You know what I mean? So yeah, next time we're talking about Halloween Resurrection. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Let me know in the comments below about that whole Scream 2 situation inside of this movie, because I want to know everyone's explanation as to why that fucking even exists. So, yep. Thank you for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time.